We're here at the Mackinac Policy Conference with members of the Ballmer Group, Kylee Mitchell-Wills, Brandon Gleaton, and we just got through with a conversation about K-12 education throughout the state of Michigan. The panelists were great. We had the superintendent from Detroit Public Schools, superintendent from Grand Rapids Public Schools, and then Gary Torgo, who is very instrumental in helping fund education programs across the state. Tell me a little bit about why this panel was so needed, and you were the moderator of the panel too. Tell me why this panel was so needed here at the Mackinac Policy Conference.
Well, it was needed because we must do more for our kids. And it takes all of us. It takes the entire state. It takes East and West. It takes business philanthropy. This is why we were here. And Ballmer Group is all about making sure that kids have the education resources that they need to be successful.
And you run the K-12 programs for the Ballmer Group.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about how you've had to be, innovative in your approach to solving some of the problems that exist within the K-12 programs throughout the state of Michigan.
Yeah, so we have a robust portfolio that focuses on K through 12 educational attainment for young folks, teaching kids how to read and master those foundational literacy skills that they need to survive and thrive through into the K-12 system. We invest a lot in post-secondary as well. So when kids have that robust education in K-12, that they can land somewhere successful in the post-secondary space. We're also focusing on teacher retention, which is critical. If we don't have kids in front of our children that could teach them the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s of what it means to be successful in schools, all of this work in vain. So we're focusing on young people, we're focusing on systems, we're focusing on teacher retention. We have a lot of grantees across Southeast Michigan that's focusing on those things, and we're delivering and finding out what those best practices are.
We just heard Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan on stage prior to this session speaking about how critical K-12 is and bettering our programs across the state in order to become competitive across, nationally for, retention of the state's population, attraction of jobs, and just continued growth as a state. Where do you rank K-12 education in terms of the most important needs of the state of Michigan as we move forward and try to continue to grow?
Number one, it should be on every candidate's agenda for mayor, for governor, any elected office. Education is number one. If you don't have a healthy education system, you have no economy. You have no economic mobility. It's the number one priority.
And with Michigan, just, we rank 44th overall in education when you factor in standardized test scores and graduation rates. Is there a silver bullet to solving this problem, or, what is the solution that we need to implement to be better?
The solution is working together across party lines, across sectors, and it has to be authentic doers that can reform the system.
What have you seen in terms of, as a program director, what have you seen implemented that has been successful in the outcomes of, changing the narrative about where we're headed and what direction the state of Michigan is headed in?
Yeah, so we have a partnership called with Teach for America with Teach Michigan, and they focus on making sure that those teachers are get their base salary. They also receive stipends. They also receive robust wraparound and professional development services. If we can figure out ways to keep our teachers in the classroom, pay them more as well, it's not just through our state per pupil funding, but also incentivizing performance bonuses, how they can master ELA and math as well, keep those teachers grounded in those school systems. I think we have what's possible. It's also important to note that when we think about evolving Michigan's educational landscape, we're not just in competition with Ohio or Wyoming or Florida or the west side of the country, but we're in a global market. So we need to figure out, how do we compete globally? I think the United States is in the middle percentile as well across all the countries across the world. So we need to figure out that this is not just a Michigan issue, it's a United States issue. And we have to figure out ways to be competitive, not only in the Midwest and the country, but globally.
One of the questions that I want to ask is, yep, come on out.
Just trying to get out.
Yeah, no problem.
Is this student personal?
Yeah, I'm going to just do that question.
5, 4, 3. 2.
The last question I want to ask here. Hold on 1 second.
I know.
Dennis, you food. Yeah, like you saw me resisting.
Right.
You know, just chilled it to him.
And he heard you.
And he heard me. That was
I was pushing it.
I saw you pushing it back too. I'm like, we on the island. Let's act cool. Let's act cool while we on the island.
And you see me doing the interview.
Yeah. All right, I kind of lost my train of thought. Let me get back into it for a second. All right.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And this is the last question that I'll propose to both of you. How long do you think it's going to take to right this shit, knowing that we've been on a steady decline for the last couple decades here?
I think it's going to take a couple decades to reform. Just being very honest, nothing of this magnitude changes overnight. And again, working in collaboration with collective impact strategies is challenging. So I think we need to look at the reform and just know that it's going to take probably about 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely agree. I think when we have each cluster of kids that start in kindergarten and graduate from the 12th grade, and then we see where they land right after they graduate, whether it's post-secondary or the workforce, and that takes at least 12 years each cluster to determine if what we're doing in the earlier front of education is actually paying off at the tail end of education. Are we getting people educated and able to compete in a global market in the workforce? Are they landing jobs? Do they have incomes that are able to take care of themselves and expand their family? That really determines is what we're doing in K through 12 working when young folks become young adults.
I think it's clear that education, especially early childhood education and K-12 education, has been a key topic of conversation here at the Mackinac Policy Conference. And it's definitely something that we'll continue to keep our eyes on as we move forward in this important election year, not just for the city of Detroit, but the impending elections that are going to be coming after it as well. Thank you all for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you.
That was good.
So sorry.
No problem. We're done now.